What's up, guys? Hey, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Dometic refrigerator, kind of why I got it, and then how I wired it up so that it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. Now, most of the time I'm not going on an extended trip. Most of the time it's 2 and 3 day outings is the maximum that I would typically do. So I'm going to show you an easy and quick way to get it wired up coming up. Alright, welcome back, guys. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my Dometic refrigerator. I think it's been a blast having one. Used to have a cooler. When you went on extended trips with the cooler, what you really run into is this cycle of finding ice, filling ice, draining ice, and then finding more ice. And it becomes kind of a hassle. I had a Yeti cooler when we were headed out to Outer Banks a couple years ago with the Peach State Overland guys, and that was kind of frustrating for me, especially because I actually kept the cooler in the truck. You know, other guys in the group like Kevin, he's got his actually mounted onto his trailer, so it's a little bit easier to drain and refill. So it makes a little bit more sense to have a cooler in that sort of situation. Anyway, this particular model is the CFX 75. I believe that's the right name, or the right model number. It actually has a fridge and a freezer, so a dual zone, so you can set both of them to whatever temperature you want. Right now I have the fridge side set to 31 degrees and the freezer side set to -5 degrees. So awesome fridge. I recommend you get a slide. I don't have a slide yet, or I don't have a way to really get it in and out during trips, but that's something I'm going to invest in later. But more importantly, I really wanted to share with you how I was able to wire it up, and hopefully this will help you. So far, I've been out on 2 consecutive nights with 1 day in the middle of not starting my vehicle or just starting my vehicle for a few minutes, and haven't run into any issues with it killing my battery. So here's the first thing I did. The first thing I did was when I purchased my next battery, so the original battery that came with the truck died a couple of years ago, I ended up getting an AGM battery. Now an AGM battery, or a gel battery, is going to have a better capacity for deep cycle. Now that means that the battery can take more consistently draining the battery and recharging it. It's a little bit of a stronger battery. They're also good for off-road in general because they don't have water in them, so you don't have to worry about, you know, hill climbs or anything like that potentially draining or emptying water out or anything like that, sloshing around of your battery, which is gonna, you know, ruin the performance of the battery. Anyway, those traditional batteries cannot take a good cycle down. So what I've been able to do is I actually took the super basic $50 install your amplifier kit from AutoZone. I installed that. I believe it's got a 15 or a 20 amp fuse built into it. I literally ran the wiring straight up to the battery, just like you would run a sub if you've ever done any sorts of work, or an amplifier if you've ever done any of that sort of work. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is the other end of it I mounted to a lighter socket. So this lighter socket is essentially always connected to my battery and always on if I need it. Now there's not like a light or anything on it that would risk draining the battery when I'm not using it, but what I will say is when I'm not on a trip using the refrigerator, I actually pull the refrigerator out and I put it in my garage, and I keep it on and keep it running there. So what that's going to really do is that's going to help whenever you do go out on a trip, on a camping trip, and you need to grab your refrigerator and go, it's already going to be cooled down, it's already going to be ready, and 9 times out of 10 I've already done some of my shopping for my food, so it'll already be in there. So literally I go into my garage, I unplug it, I pick it up, I throw it in the back of my truck, I plug it in there, and then all it has to do is maintain that temperature, which takes significantly less battery power to do. to maintain that. So if you're going on trips where you're getting off-road every single day and you're wheeling, it's definitely, like the daytime will charge you back up, and the nighttime you'll consume some of that capacity down. But if you're not doing more than 2 or 3 consecutive days out in the woods, then you should have, and so far I have had, good experience with this setup. Down the road, I would like to invest in a nice dual battery or something, maybe even putting like some small like golf cart batteries, wiring them 6-volt into series and then parallels, to get almost like my vehicle is a charging pack, and I plug it in and it would run a good 36 hours just by itself. So literally in that situation, I would plug my truck in at home, charge it just like you would an electric vehicle, and then you would have that stored up in the back of your truck to consume whenever you needed to. So the other thing that I do to make sure I'm always okay, 9 times out of 10 I'm out with other people, but I would carry my jumper pack. So I have a little jumper pack that actually has some battery capacity in it too, and will actually run this refrigerator for about 9 hours if I needed it to. But it'll jump my truck if my battery gets too low, and then I can let it run and charge up, and then hopefully I'll be able to maintain the refrigerator after that. Another tip is to actually keep the refrigerator full. The fuller the refrigerator is, the better it'll be able to maintain its temperature. So definitely keeping that full. If you don't have much in the freezer, throw a few bottles of water in there, let them freeze, and then them being frozen will help maintain the temperature of the freezer when you guys are off-roading. Plus, you can transition 1 or 2 of them into the refrigerator or pull it in the front of your truck. A few hours later, once it's thawed, it'll be good to drink. So that's another tip of, something I kind of learned going out fishing when I was younger. We used to take frozen bottles of water, and then when we got out there, they'd be partially thawed, and then we could start kind of sipping on them and drinking them. So I hope this was a helpful video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please post them below. Let me know. Happy to answer them. Make sure you're following my channel for more content like this. Let me know if there's another topic you want me to talk about. I'm happy to take a look and see what I can put together. Again, and thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.